Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
I'm thankful to be back, and I don't want to waste this opportunity to see it in the United States.
He has been stuck in Mexico for months, but today the immigration ordeal for a Southern California Harvard student has finally ended.
A former high school teacher and girls soccer coach behind bars this afternoon, facing charges of having sex with a student.
3 American girls, high school teenagers, authorities say were lured by the internet to join terrorists in Syria. They had already left the U.S., where authorities found them. Good evening, I'm David Ona.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. Harvard student Dario Guerrero Menendez crossed into the U.S. today after being stranded in Mexico for months. He was there taking care of his dying mother, but when he tried to return, he was refused entry back into the U.S. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell is live in Long Beach, where Menendez will be reunited with his family. Amy?
Colleen, it's a long-awaited reunion for this college student and his family. He was granted humanitarian parole and a visa, and he is expected to return to his family's home here in Long Beach sometime this evening. Dario Guerrero Menendez had a big smile on his face as he re-entered the United States this afternoon at the San Ysidro border crossing. The 21-year-old Harvard University student spent the last few months in Mexico living with his grandparents, unable to return. Guerrero was 2 years old when he moved to Southern California illegally with his family. The Harvard junior had been living in the U.S., attending college without fear of deportation, thanks to the Obama administration's 2012 DREAM Act, which allowed thousands of undocumented students to stay in the country. But Guerrero decided to travel to Mexico to take his mother, who was dying of cancer, to a clinic for alternative treatment. Officials say, in essence, he deported himself because he did not get federal permission to leave. Guerrero's mother died in August. Since then, he had been fighting to be allowed back in the country.
I don't want to be treated like a criminal, although I understand that I violated the policies that are laid out. And I'm thankful to be back, and I don't want to waste this opportunity to succeed in the United States.
Guerrero says he hopes to resume his studies at Harvard. He's expected to spend some time here in Southern California first with his family. So back out here live once again, we are outside the family's home, and we're expecting him to arrive sometime this evening. Reporting live in Long Beach, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Amy, thank you. We'll get an update. In the meantime, a former high school teacher and girls soccer coach is behind bars facing charges of having sex with a student. 30-year-old Brandon Hitchcock, a former Downey High School teacher and coach, has been charged with 15 felony counts for his alleged relationship with a 16-year-old student last spring. According to the school district, Hitchcock has been placed on unpaid leave. Students on campus are shocked.
It was shocking, embarrassing. I still don't believe it, but it's pretty sad.
What's it been like on campus since he was removed from the school?
A lot of drama.
What's it been like on campus after all that's happened?
Pretty much people just talking about the entire time. Just people like, oh, I can't believe this happened. There was suspicion, and people were talking about it before then, but once people figured it out, everyone started talking about it. It's crazy.
Hitchcock has pleaded not guilty, and if convicted on all counts, he faces a maximum of 13 years in state prison.
A veteran Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy pleaded no contest today to child sexual molestation. The district attorney says John Rose had a sexual relationship with a teenage girl last year. Investigators say he met the girl through her family and that the incidents happened while Rose was off duty. He was stripped of his duties as deputy shortly after his arrest. Rose faces 3 years in prison when he is sentenced November 26th. He will also be ordered to register as a sex offender for life. No new leads in the search for former Harlem Globetrotter Rico Omar Harris. Harris left his mother's home in Alhambra Friday, October 10th. He was driving to Seattle, Washington, but he never arrived. 3 days later, Harris's black Nissan sedan was found near Rumsey in Northern California. Yolo County Sheriff's officials say there has been no cell phone or credit card activity since he disappeared, and they say there is no evidence of depression or intention to harm himself. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to call the police.
Well, tonight the FBI is investigating 3 Denver teenagers lured overseas through the internet, thinking they were on their way to join terror groups in Syria. ABC's Pierre Thomas has new details, plus the internet message those teens might have heard and listened to.
The advice that I have for the sisters.
Sources tell ABC News slick video promos like this preaching the virtues of jihad and hatred of the West were key to convincing 3 Denver teenage girls to leave their families behind. The teenagers of Somali and Sudanese descent were only 15 and 16 years old, allegedly seduced into flying to Frankfurt, Germany, with plans that had them bound for Turkey and then Syria.
It's very important that they come to this place here.
But after they disappeared last weekend and their families became worried, the FBI was contacted and the girls were stopped and sent home. ABC News has learned Syrian radicals are specifically targeting women and girls to become their wives or fighters.
We have houses, we have security.
This female recruit from Scotland is now posting messages on Twitter asking for support of any kind. If you cannot make it to the battlefield, then bring the battlefield to yourself.
U.S. law enforcement officials are wrestling with these critical questions. Are these teens misguided children who have been victimized, or potential radicals who need to be prosecuted? Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
American detainee Jeffrey Fole has been released from North Korea nearly 6 months after he was arrested for leaving a Bible in a nightclub. Fole had been awaiting trial while the U.S. was trying to negotiate his release. North Korea gave no explanation for its decision. The White House is now urging the country to release 2 other Americans, Kenneth Bay and Matthew Miller, who were sentenced after North Korea accused them of spying. Olympic runner Oscar Pistorius has begun serving a 5-year prison sentence for killing his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp. A judge today issued the sentence after the double amputee was found guilty of culpable homicide. Pistorius killed Steenkamp on Valentine's Day last year, shooting her through a closed door in his home. The runner maintains the shooting was an accident and he thought she was an intruder. Steenkamp's family say they are satisfied with the sentence.
New developments on the Ebola front. Doctors in Nebraska say Ashoka Mukpo is now free of the virus after treatment and will be released from a biocontainment unit on Wednesday. Mukpo was working in Liberia as a freelance cameraman. He says he does not know how he contracted the disease. Also good news for Dallas nurse Nina Pham. She's being treated in Maryland, where doctors have upgraded her condition to good. Homeland Security is tightening up Ebola travel rules. Anyone coming from the West Africa Ebola region must arrive at one of 5 U.S. airports where they have Ebola screening. And those airports are JFK, Dulles, O'Hare, Newark's Liberty, and Atlanta's Hartsfield Airport.
And here at home, Ebola preparedness took center stage at the LA City Council today. But despite reassurance from City Council members, some healthcare workers are still concerned about a possible Ebola outbreak here in Los Angeles.
We really are prepared. I do not anticipate an outbreak of Ebola to happen here in Los Angeles County. The risk of spreading Ebola is still very low.
We just haven't had that sort of training yet. It's not available to us yet, and we need it.
Officials say LA County does have a laboratory that is certified to test for Ebola within the first day a suspected case is discovered.
Well, we've heard it before that the NFL is coming back, but we now know the league is at least considering a return because it's emailing questionnaires to hundreds of potential customers here in Southern California. Eyewitness News reporter Robert Olguin explains what it all means.
Los Angeles is already home to world champions in basketball and hockey, but would sports fans in LA support a professional football team?
Absolutely. We have no team.
I'd say it's a great idea. Of course, I'd love to see an NFL team.
And if a team were to relocate to LA, where should it play?
But I think you have to have it in downtown LA. There's no space for them downtown.
I mean, to put it on the beach.
Those are some of the opinions that the NFL will compile as part of a questionnaire that went out today to nearly 2,000 sports fans in LA.
I can't believe a market like LA doesn't have a football team.
A league spokesman confirmed to Eyewitness News that the NFL is conducting a formal assessment of LA, trying to get a sense of whether or not Angelinos are serious about supporting a team. And as one might imagine, opinions vary.
It doesn't float my boat.
This is where the Lakers, Kings are. I mean, the city can support it.
Earlier this month, LA City Council approved a 6-month extension on AEG's agreement with the city to build Farmers Field in downtown LA, but that won't happen without a commitment from an NFL team.
If we are surveyed, I believe Angelinos will say they want a football team and they'll support a football team.
Other sites have stirred speculation. Last year, the owner of the St. Louis Rams purchased 60 acres in Inglewood that could be used as a stadium site. Sites in Carson and Irwindale have also been bandied about.
I think it makes a lot of sense to do it or do it one of the outlying areas, and I think the NFL should come to Los Angeles, but not downtown.
And while no team has made any kind of commitment to LA, sports fans here insist that LA could once again be a football town.
Yeah, no, I would love to see a football team.
Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Again, the NFL says the questionnaires went out via email today, but the league would not disclose how participants were chosen. Survey topics included stadium size, public transportation, and, of course, tailgating.
Ben Bradley, the former top editor of the Washington Post, has died. He passed away at his home in Washington today. Bradley suffered from Alzheimer's and dementia. He was the executive editor of the Washington Post for 23 years and managed the paper's coverage of the Watergate scandal and President Nixon's downfall. Last year, President Obama awarded Bradley the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor awarded to civilians. In a statement tonight, the president called Bradley a true newspaperman and said he, quote, set a standard for honest, objective, meticulous reporting. Ben Bradley was 93 years old.
Still to come here at 8 o'clock, new criminal charges filed against a Django Unchained actress found in a parked car with her boyfriend, the possible jail terms that they're now facing.
Plus, a scene of terror at an ATM. A man grabs a woman withdrawing cash from an ATM. Wait until you see what happened next. Plus, this story.
Well, you heard it, a Chicago man telling President Obama, quote, don't touch my girlfriend, and see how the commander-in-chief got the last laugh.
Beautiful day today. Things have been pretty seasonal, but fall's going to take a break for a couple of days. Warmer weather from your 7-day forecast. Stick around for it.
The Django Unchained actress who suggested the LAPD racially profiled her after she was found in a parked car with her boyfriend has now been charged with lewd conduct. Danielle Watts and Brian Lucas each were charged today with misdemeanor counts that carry potential 6-month jail terms. Watts was briefly handcuffed after police say she refused to provide identification when officers responded to a call about the couple's activity in a parked car. Watts claims she and Lucas were only kissing.
A terrifying scene. A man approaches a woman at an ATM and allegedly demands the money that she withdrew. ABC's Gio Benitez has dramatic photos as well as a warning for everyone tonight.
Look at these security images from an ATM in West Melbourne, Florida. A frightening moment less than 24 hours ago as a man approaches a 20-year-old woman from behind, wrapping his arm around her throat, allegedly demanding she withdraw money. But the woman quickly hits that panic button on her car keys, and the guy takes off. Security photos so clear, the man's girlfriend turned him in this afternoon. Police say he's 44-year-old Scott Patrick Deason, in no mood to talk during his arrest.
Anything to say at all? Nothing?
Most ATM holdups happen at night, but in New York it was early morning when a robber took $300 in cash from Juliana Rivera at an ATM. She says he also stole her peace of mind.
You feel like somebody's always watching you.
And another in broad daylight, in Philly just 2 weeks ago. Take a look. A man puts 2 fingers on a woman's back, allegedly telling the woman he'd shoot her. She gave him the cash, and he's still on the run.
What is the first thing you got to do when you're approaching that ATM?
Make sure that you go to a well-lit area, or you go to an ATM that's in a retail outlet, because that's going to have a lot of traffic.
And while the panic alarm worked for that 20-year-old Monday,
sometimes it's just easier to comply because, you don't want to risk your life for your money.
And some other tips when you're at the ATM: don't wear any visible jewelry. That can be a draw for thieves. And go ahead and just put that cash away. Don't start counting money right there at the ATM. Gio Benitez, ABC News, New York.
Just talking about the weather already.
Oh, yeah,
it felt a little cooler this morning.
It was cooler this morning. Temperatures have been right at or maybe a little below or even just a degree above average. So we say seasonable. That's my word for it. I came up with that one, seasonable. It goes back a long ways. They don't really come up with those words, guys. All right, but we've got cooler, I should say warmer weather in the forecast. You like the cooler weather, but it's going away, Colleen, for a couple of days. Can you handle that? You like the 80, mid-80s? No, she's kind of upper 80s maybe? 90s? Okay, she shook her head. All right, we're going to push 90 degrees in some spots as we go in the next couple of days, but today was beautiful. Laguna Beach, there's a time lapse for you. Fantastic weather today, right where we should be. Rains up to the north. Just a few showers in Northern California, but we are dry. We don't expect any rain, especially in the near term, because high pressure will actually be our weather maker, which, generally speaking, will squash rain chances. 78, we were right there, smack dab where we should be this time of year. 78 is our normal in downtown. 65, it was a mild morning. 58 is our normal. We'll actually cool off tonight, closer to 60 degrees, 59 degrees in downtown right now, though. You're at 69. And it's a nice night down at Long Beach, 69 degrees. The cloud cover is going to be pretty minimal to start things off the next few days, so don't look for a real thick marine layer. It's going to be a relatively sunny afternoon for just about everybody, and temperatures like this are actually going to be a little bit cooler at night, overnight the next few nights, so enjoy this while you can. 70 Ontario, 69 LA, 85 in Palm Springs. These are your current temperatures. We're in the upper 60s at the coast, around Long Beach and Santa Monica. So here's a trough of low pressure that came through, and you can actually see a little bit of shower activity associated with it right here up around the Four Corners area. For us, we're looking at high pressure that will start to build in over the next couple of days. It's not a very strong area of high pressure, and I can show you this right here on the future scan. This shows you the atmospheric patterns. It shows you where the energy is in the atmosphere, and I'll start you off tonight, 8 o'clock, going through tomorrow. See that little arc right there? It's not very pronounced, but it's there, and then especially gets really going on Thursday, which will be the warmest day. That's high pressure, okay? And as that builds in on Thursday, and especially Thursday and Friday, those 2 days will be the warmest days, pushing 90 in some of the valley locations. We go through Friday afternoon, and this is our next change, big trough of low pressure. And you know what that means? A cool down just in time for the weekend. Looks like back to the kind of fall stuff we've had as of late for Saturday and Sunday. So tonight, fair, cool. Looks like maybe a couple of patchy beach clouds, but overall nothing too thick in the way of cloud cover. Temperatures beautiful, and then tomorrow looking very nice, 80 in Los Angeles. So we're bumping up the temperatures a little bit. Not a huge warm up tomorrow, except for some spots might see a little bit of upper 80. In the upper 80 range, I should say, in the IE around Riverside, 88. But the coast should stay in the lower to mid-70s. In the 70 forecast, you'll see the real warm-up is on Thursday and Friday, especially in the LA area, 84 on Friday. And then we kick things down 10 degrees from Friday to Saturday with that next trough coming through for the weekend. The sea breeze going to be a factor for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures down only around 74, 73 degrees. Valleys, IE. Colleen, stay out of the valleys, i.e. You'll see temperatures up pushing 90 degrees in some spots on Thursday and Friday. Generally in the mid-80s, around 86 to 88. And then the weekend, we cool things off about 10 degrees back to average or even below. And the mountains looking very nice. Just coastal slope clouds this weekend, otherwise sunny and mild and nice and warm in the high desert. A couple days of 80s. Otherwise, we're in the 70s for the rest of the forecast. Another look at the weather coming up in a few minutes. Back to the desk.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, check this out. One Chicago voter caught President Obama off guard with his bold introduction and witty sense of humor. Mike Jones playfully warned President Obama not to touch his girlfriend while he cast his ballot beside fellow Chicago resident Aya Cooper. Cooper laughs nervously while the president smiles and gears up to throw a verbal jab of his own back in the boyfriend's direction.
I can't believe Mike, he is such a fool. He really is. I was just mortified. Fortunately, she's up to conversation with the president. Fortunately, the president was nice about it.
I didn't know what to say. I was just shaking. I was like, oh my God, this is the president. What am I supposed to do?
Well, Jones says the polling location was just so quiet he simply had to break the silence, so he did what he knows best. He cracks a joke. But it was the president who got the last laugh.
Give me a kiss and give me something to talk about.
Take care of yourself. He gave me a hug and a kiss. On the cheek. On the cheek. Just the cheek. Please, Michelle, don't come after me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a good sense of humor.
Well, and look how it worked out for her. The boyfriend, granted, she probably felt a little uncomfortable, but the boyfriend was, look what I did. I got you a kiss from the president.
She'll remember that voting experience forever.
Forever. And it's documented on videotape, too, all over the world. Another possible data breach at a national chain. So your private information, is it at risk? What you need to know up next.
Plus, students at a local high school got a sobering lesson in distracted driving, how one false move could be costly. Staples may be the latest victim of a potential credit card data breach. A spokesman for the office supplies retailer says it has contacted law enforcement. Check your credit card statements. Staples says if any discrepancies turn up during the investigation, customers won't be responsible for fraudulent activity on their credit cards as long as it is reported in a timely manner. Earlier this month, Kmart reported a data breach. Others have also happened at retailers including Target and Home Depot.
Samsung says some of its mobile devices have been cleared for U.S. government use. The company says the National Security Agency approved the use of the Galaxy S5, the Galaxy Note 4, and 7 other smartphones and tablets for use with classified government networks and data. It's the first consumer devices validated by both the NSA and the National Institute of Standards and Technology. The announcement is a big boost to Samsung's efforts to expand into the security-conscious business market. And 2 North Carolina men are crisscrossing the country in an attempt to buy every kind of beer sold in the United States. But they aren't drinking the beer. It's actually a beer census. The beer is being taken to a lab to be analyzed. The information is all for a free app called Next Glass that will help match beer lovers with other beers that they may like.
If you give us like 3 to 5 suggestions on things you've tried, whether you liked them or not, just rate them. And from now, we can tell you exactly what you're going to like.
Okay, good idea, I guess. The Next Glass app is scheduled to launch next month.
We are updating the evening's top stories next here at 8:30.
Including caught on camera, a smash and grab burglary in progress, and now police want your help tracking down these criminals.
And a watery mess as the roof comes crashing down at a local gas station. What caused its collapse?
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, a Harvard University student stranded in Mexico for months has returned to the U.S. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm David Ono. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. 21-year-old Dario Guerrero Meneses will spend the night in Long Beach with his family after a lengthy immigration battle. Meneses was brought into the U.S. illegally when he was just 2 years old. He was not supposed to leave the country, but when his mother did not respond to cancer treatment, He took her to Mexico for alternative options, and after weeks of trying, Meneses was granted humanitarian parole and a visa and crossed back into the U.S. soil today.
A former teacher and soccer coach at Downey High School has been charged with 15 felony counts for his alleged sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student. 30-year-old Brandon Hitchcock has pleaded not guilty. According to the school district, he has been placed on unpaid leave. Hitchcock was arrested on Friday and is scheduled to appear in court next month. If convicted on all counts, he faces a maximum of 13 years in state prison.
Some video you have to see. Caught on camera, a smash-and-grab burglary in progress. Thieves break into a store in the 10,700 block of Westminster Avenue in Garden Grove and make off with tens of thousands of dollars worth of electronics. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cota-Robles talked to the store owner, who hopes surveillance video will help identify several suspects.
This video captured the moment at 2:18 this morning when 3 suspects wearing white bodysuits forced their way into a wireless store in Garden Grove.
They took out everything completely, from snap my door, cut my lock.
Vu Boy has owned the store Oztec Wireless for only 3 months and says he has never had trouble like this. He says he was alerted before police when he got a call from ADT Security. Police then responded, but it was too late. Vu says in just 3 minutes, the burglars smashed the display cases and stole several iPhone 6s, the newest version iPads, MacBook Air and MacBook Pros, along with 2 Microsoft Surface Pros, which are valued at $1,300 each. This is the best still frame that we could find. Only the suspect's eyes are visible.
Terrible, you know, like, I see it, but I cannot do anything.
This small business owner says he's lost upwards of $50,000 in merchandise, and he has one message to the suspects.
Everyone have family, and, you know, you have to work for, take care of your family. If they took money from me.
Mark Cota-Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The store owner says he plans to reopen because he has no other choice. So far, the suspects have only been described as 3 men in their 20s.
Signal Hill police shoot and wound a woman, sending her to the hospital. Air 7 was over the scene in the 1800 block of Cherry Avenue where a female suspect was shot. This was just after 8 this morning. The suspect was taken to the hospital in unknown condition. No officers were injured. Sheriff's homicide detectives are assisting Signal Hill police in the investigation. Torrance police are looking into a crosswalk accident that sent a brother and sister to the hospital. The 5-year-old boy has serious injuries. His 8-year-old sister suffered minor injuries. Police say the children were in the crosswalk when the driver hit them while attempting a left turn from southbound Madison to eastbound Newton. The driver did stay at the scene, and police say he is cooperating with investigators.
A massive gusher of water caused by a sheared fire hydrant triggers a roof collapse at an Ontario gas station. Despite the damage, no one was injured. Eyewitness News Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan talked with a witness.
It only took a matter of minutes for the entire roof at this Ontario Chevron gas station to come crashing down to the ground.
It sounded like twisting metal. By the time I got up here, it had already settled down on the ground.
Mario Alvarez says it happened around 7 o'clock this morning. Check out this surveillance video. Watch the top left corner of the screen as a dump truck driver who's trying to back into the gas station accidentally clips a fire hydrant. An eyewitness snapped this picture of the water shooting into the air.
It looked like a fountain. Big old geyser with rocks shooting up there too because of the rocks on the ground, and you could hear them landing on the roof making all that noise.
Within seconds, the water from the hydrant flooded the entire gas station.
There was one car parked over here, but as soon as that water started shooting out, he was smart enough to pull the car out, and I guess everybody stayed away. Otherwise, yeah, it could have been a bad thing.
Because moments later, the roof collapsed.
Thank God no one was hurt. Thank you, Jesus. Because I was like, wow, I can't believe this has happened.
Tashi Hale says she can't believe the damage.
It looked to me like a hurricane came in and just took over.
The gas station owner told us off camera that the driver of the dump truck is a regular customer and it was all an accident.
I felt sorry for the guy. I'm sure he started his day off terrible.
The water created a small sinkhole, and this afternoon, work crews were trying to get the last of the water out of it.
What does this say about the power of water? Watch out.
Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The 2015 Rose Queen has just been announced, and the winner is Madison Triplett. The 17-year-old is the 97th Rose Queen. She attends Marshall Fundamental High School in Pasadena. She was crowned just about an hour ago at a coronation ceremony. Triplet was chosen out of 7 young women in this year's Rose Court. And tonight's big announcement is leading up to the 126th Rose Parade and the Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Tax incentives meant to keep film production jobs in LA appear to be working. We learned today that TV production in the third quarter of this year grew by more than 30%, while the number of sitcom shoots was down. All the other sectors of TV production up. And it was dramas that really jumped. The number of those shoots rose by a whopping 43%. Unfortunately, feature film production did not fare as well. It was down slightly from a year ago. Hollywood's iconic Cat and Fiddle restaurant, a longtime eatery on Sunset Boulevard, is closing in December. Cat and Fiddle opened 32 years ago on Laurel Canyon Boulevard before moving to Sunset. The popular British pub is a Hollywood hotspot frequented by celebs. The landlord is reportedly replacing the restaurant with an undisclosed tenant willing to pay twice the current lease amount. Cat and Fiddle owners say they are looking for a new location.
A trip to Yosemite could soon be more expensive. The National Park Service this week announced a plan to increase some of the fees. Specifically, it would cost you $10 more to get in. A one-week pass would be $30 per car instead of $20 as it is right now. That would be the first rate increase since 1997. And campers who currently pay between $5 and $20 a night would have to pay between $6 and $24. If the new rates are approved, they'd take effect next year.
Aside from loyal pets, dogs can also make great partners for the elderly and visually impaired. But more and more canines are sticking their noses in on the detective business as cadaver dogs. Tonight, we're getting a look at how one best friend team is fetching some pretty big results.
Okay, Buster, go find 4 down here.
A man and his dog on the trail.
Come on, go find some more.
Of the missing and the murdered. Buster is a cadaver dog trained to sniff out human remains, some decades old.
Oh, he loves it. He loves it. That's why he screams when you tell him to. He just can't wait to do his job.
Paul Dosti is a retired police officer.
Put your nose on it.
And part of the growing number of trainers gaining credence with law enforcement and courts. Besides a super sensitive nose and a sturdy tail, 12-year-old Buster manages to do his work on 3 legs, having recently lost one to cancer. Sometimes that work takes the pair to places like abandoned mine shafts in the mountains of California's eastern Sierra region. It's dangerous work.
Okay.
And often painstakingly slow.
It's almost like a Pandora's box. You don't know what you're going to find.
Okay, go find it.
Sometimes it's an American soldier missing overseas. Buster and Dosti flew with other volunteers to Belgium in 2011 to search a site where an American warplane crashed in World War II. The Black Lab lays down to alert. Then honed in. A volunteer crew found these teeth and other remains of Lieutenant Robert Festemacher, an Army Air Corps pilot finally laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery.
We can finally say to Robert, welcome home. You served your country and family with honor and made us proud. May you now forever rest in peace.
Back in California, Dosti dreads the day he'll have to say goodbye to his aging friend.
Yeah, it's going to be like losing a member of the family. Come on, Buster, you can do it. You're not handicapped. There you go. Good.
Sweet little dog. Labs and German Shepherds are the most common breeds used for cadaver dogs. Now, Paul Dosti concedes that his wife had to beg him 12 years ago to let her keep Buster. And as you saw, Buster is now considered family.
Love Buster.
I know, me too.
Great guy. Well, a smartphone app that could actually fight childhood obesity. Details up next.
Plus, a paralyzed man can now walk after breakthrough surgery. How his nose helped repair his spinal cord.
Jonathan Novak here. A few clouds. Our LAX time lapse. It was a beautiful fall day, though, but temperatures are going to feel pretty warm, maybe even hot in your 7-day forecast. Details coming up. Stick around.
Here is an amazing story. A first-of-its-kind medical procedure allowing a paralyzed man to walk for the first time in 4 years. Doctors made it happen by transplanting cells from his nose into his spinal cord. The Polish man was left paralyzed from the chest down by a knife attack in 2010. Neurologists got the idea to take cells from his nose, which constantly regenerate and aid our sense of smell, and inject them into the gap in his damaged spine. Slowly, his body has begun moving again. A clinical trial involving 10 other paralyzed people will soon be underway.
Well, do your kids spend too much time on their cell phone? Well, now they can use their phones to look at an app that could actually help them make better choices when it comes to food. One app called Curbo groups food in different categories using a traffic light sorting system. Green for healthy foods, yellow for food that should be limited, red for something that is unhealthy. Kids are encouraged to keep track of their choices, which helps them avoid mindless eating. And if your child needs more support, some apps like this one even offer coaching, but it's often for an extra fee.
Students at Notre Dame High School got a sobering lessons today on the dangers of distracted driving.
Students at the Sherman Oaks School got a chance to get behind the wheel and found out that one little mistake can lead to major injuries. And Eyewitness News reporter Q McCrae shows us how the training turned out.
Music blaring, sirens wailing, texting. Sarah Tobo is proof it's tough to drive while distracted.
It was kind of crazy. I never knew what distractions can really do to you.
And that's exactly what this driving test at Notre Dame High was meant to prove. It's National Teen Safe Driving Week, put on annually by the California Highway Patrol and the Mercedes-Benz Driving Academy. According to safety officials, car collisions are the #1 killer of teens in the country, and the majority do not involve drugs or alcohol. Distracted driving is mostly to blame. 4 years ago, Connor Lynch was a victim. His mother grieves to this day.
I really never thought I'd be standing here talking to you, but I think it's really important that we understand that distracted driving is preventable.
Gonzalo Aranguez agrees. Last year, he was reaching for his cell phone while driving and struck and killed a cyclist.
Make the right decisions behind the wheel.
He was sentenced to 3 years probation and community service.
For parents looking for a way to keep their children focused while behind the wheel, there's the Lifesaver app. It activates when the vehicle they're in is moving at more than 9 miles per hour. It shuts off the phone, and it's free.
If you touch your phone and the display comes on, the screen locks and reminds you, oh, I can't touch my phone. So quickly your behavior changes. You basically leave your phone alone.
My son never got to graduate from Notre Dame High School. All those things that we want our kids to be able to achieve.
Notre Dame High students are well aware of Connor's story. His death, a constant reminder to make the right choice.
Will you be texting and driving in the future?
No, I don't want to.
Q McCrae, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A proposed new law in Berkeley would force landlords to rent to people with pets. As in most cities, it's currently up to the property owner to decide if they'll allow pets, but a city councilman has put forward an ordinance that would prohibit a no-pets policy. Naturally, a lot of pet owners like this idea, but a lot of landlords, not so much.
The money I get in the security deposit would never cost recarpeting an apartment. It wouldn't even approach it.
I've heard from several of my friends the desire to have a pet, but their landlords do not allow dogs.
It could be months before this proposal becomes law, if it ever does. First, there will be a lengthy period of public comment, pro and con.
A big warm-up on the way. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast next.
Well, plus in sports, the Kings make their first comment since the arrest of Slava Voinov.
And a look at how lack of parking is hurting mass transit here in Southern California.
Hurricane Ana is now far past the Hawaiian Islands, but its effects are still being felt. Did you see that hole? A large sinkhole was opened up in Oahu. It's on a property that has rental homes and businesses. The hole measures about 20 feet wide and 40 to 50 feet deep. It consumed a 30-foot tree, and one resident nearly lost her BMW, which was parked nearby. Luckily, a tow truck manager was able to get it out just in time.
Wow, some spots saw 5, 6, 7 inches of rain from Ana. They were projecting 10, 12 in some isolated areas. I didn't see that much, but yeah, that's going to bring that kind of flooding. You know, I love technology. You guys know I've got all these gadgets, cell phone cameras and stuff like that. I got a cool story. Listen to this. A California company, by the way, Back to the Future 2, one of my favorite movies. A California company making movie magic come true. Back to the Future Part 2, the character Marty McFly, remember, he traveled through time and he found that hoverboard. When the movie came out, well, in '89 it seemed impossible, but the hoverboard's here, folks. The Los Gatos-based Hendo company has designed a prototype. It floats an inch off the ground. It uses 4 tiny engines, creates a special magnetic field. Looks like they're doing a Kickstarter campaign, and they should be ready in 2015, which is, I guess, when the Back to the Future hoverboards were in the movie. It was 2015. By the way, I'm going to post on my Facebook page in probably about at 9:30. A little thing that probably most people don't know about Back to the Future 2 that is a huge flaw. If you're interested, I won't spoil it now, but there's a big thing I'll post on my Facebook page. I think the only one who knows about it, I'd like to thank. Live Megadopoulos 7000 HD. We're doing a big transition out of the weather. How about that? 69 degrees right now in Burbank. Beautiful evening. Mostly clear. LAX57, mostly clear. We'll see a few coastal clouds tomorrow when you wake up, but we won't have a thick marine layer, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Temperatures tonight are generally mild right now. We're going to cool off a little bit tonight down in LA. We're going to be about 60 in the morning, which is colder than we were this morning, where we were at about 65. And you see just a few scattered low clouds tonight. The marine layer is really not going to be much of an issue the next few days. By the way, we're talking about several inches of rain. Well, portions of the Northeast seeing a big system roll through that could bring upwards of 5 inches of rain to areas like Maine and other parts of New England over the next 24 to 36 hours as that really just barrels through that area of the country. For us, you see right here, a trough of low pressure that came through, and that kind of kept us cool for today and a little bit yesterday. Now, behind it is this ridge of high pressure that's going to build in, and it's not going to be a very strong ridge, but it's strong enough that by tomorrow and Thursday especially, we'll see temperatures well above average. In the valley areas, some spots could reach 90 degrees Thursday and Friday. So you got about 2 days, really. Tomorrow's not a bad day. It's a little above average. 80 in Los Angeles for a high temperature. That's what you're looking at here. 88 Riverside. A little toasty, but not bad. 85 in Temecula. A nice day tomorrow. It's a little unseasonably warm, but Thursday and Friday are the warmest days. 82 to 84 for LA, Metro, and Orange County. Then we have another trough of low pressure for the weekend. This one's going to cool us back down, even cooler than we've been seeing the last several days, down to 74, 73 for Saturday and Sunday with the marine layer back in place. Valleys, IE, you've got a day around the mid-80s, and then you're in the mid to upper 80s, and this is where we could start seeing some spots top out at 90 on Thursday or Friday. I don't think we'll get much beyond that, but right around 86 to at most 90 in the valleys, IE, in your 7-day. The weekend, again, you're cooling down to the mid-70s with some morning clouds. Coastal slope clouds for the weekend. For the mountains, otherwise, you're going to be sunny. Upper 60s, you're in the 70s for Thursday, Friday. There's your warm-up. And then back into the 50s by Sunday morning, where you're going to wake up to temperatures right around 30 degrees. The high desert, 79, 83, and then 84 on Thursday, Friday, and a nice breezy, mild weekend. Remember, 9:30, guys, I'm going to post this thing on Back to the Future 2. If you're a fan, I think you'll appreciate it.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's me. I'm a movie nerd, so.
Don't disappoint us.
I probably
we're all checking it out.
Thanks, now.
The pressure's on.
Thank you very much.
Well, on to sports now, and after 29 years, the World Series is finally back at Kauffman Stadium. It also marks the first time since 2002 two wild-card teams are facing off. San Fran, though, spoiled the celebration, taking Game 1 7-1. Full highlights coming up in Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. on KABC. The Kings were back at practice a day after the arrest of defenseman Slava Voinov. The Royal Ones are just $500,000 under the cap, which will not allow them to bring up a player from the minors to fill Voinov's spot. Team chemistry may also be an issue. After losing their first 2 games, the Kings have ripped off 4 straight wins. So just how does this current situation affect the Kings, who are trying to gel in the early moments of their title defense?
We're trying to focus on what we need to do on the ice. This is an unfortunate situation, and it's all about the guys in here and how we handle it, and that we stick together through this.
It's going to distract us, no matter what it was, but the team's looking forward to getting this over with, and hopefully it takes care of itself.
It's unfortunate for our team, but we'll deal with it as a team and as a group, and we feel that we're a strong enough group to do that.
The USC football team was on fire offensively last week against Colorado, tallying nearly 600 yards of total offense en route to a 56-28 win. Things get more difficult this weekend when they travel to Utah, who boasts the #1 defense in the conference. 2 weeks ago, UCLA, the Utes sacked Bruin quarterback Brett Hundley 10 times, so the Trojans now they are in for a battle this weekend.
They're a great defense. I've already watched the UCLA game, and they got to Hundley more than 10 times. Sacked him 10 times, got to him more than that, but they do a great job of that. I think you're right. They are one of, if not the best defense we're going to play so far.
These guys understand the value of this game, what it means kind of in conference standings, which is important to know. So we're treating it just like the rest of them. It's worth the same, but it is a valuable one, and we know we understand the environment we're heading into.
Byron Scott and the Lakers taking on Phoenix at the Honda Center. Jordan Hill showing off the full repertoire in the early going, scoring 11 first-half points, including a long-range shot. Lake Show built a nice cushion for themselves, but the Suns end the half at a 9-2 scoring run to retake the lead. Archie Goodwin with a coast-to-coast dunk coming up right here. Lakers currently trail 77-71 after 3.
Lack of parking is hurting LA's mass transit system, losing an estimated 1,500 riders a day on the Red Line alone. This after billions of dollars have been put into the system over the past 20 years. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth takes a closer look.
When some people try to park in lots at Metro rail stations, they all too often find this: full lots with no available parking. That leaves people like Alex Gonzalez very frustrated.
You don't want to take the train because you can't park. Then if you can't park, then why would you take the train? I mean, it's park and ride, but if you can't park, how are you going to ride?
Metro officials say Metro's 6-line network has seen steady growth over the last 5 years, with some 350,000 people riding the rails on workdays. They are aware parking has become a growing problem.
We're engaged in a comprehensive parking study to identify ways that we could better manage the parking demand that we have on the Metro system.
It is a monster. It's hard.
Tom Melinda says if he does not get out to find parking at the Gold Line by the crack of dawn in Pasadena, he would be too late.
Parking's a bear, so.
Hey, what do you think they need to do about it?
Well, they have to have more facilities, more parking structures for us.
We're going to be looking at ways that we can add more parking where we can. For example, we could restripe some of the parking lots and create additional parking spaces. In other areas, we may be able to add additional parking where we are going to be doing a joint development.
They did not think it through. They just put up the stations. You can go Metro, but you can't get to the Metro station to park. That's the problem.
Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And more news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. When love goes horribly wrong, the vicious act of revenge. And rising star Shailene Woodley takes on a risky new role in The White Bird in a Blizzard. We're going to take you to tonight's Hollywood premiere. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. And that is our report for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Have a good night.